It's all about spotting it early. And if you do, no victory is out of reach.
Chris here, back here for the Michael K. Show. These highlights are brought to you by Montefiore Einstein, the official hospital of the New York Yankees. After scoring 10 runs on 12 hits in the opening game of their 3-game series with the Royals, the Bombers' bats fell silent in the middle game last night. They mustered just 3 hits, 2 of them coming from Gleyber Torres in the leadoff spot, but they struck out 14 times. 5 Yankees struck out multiple times. 10 of those were courtesy of starter Seth Lugo, who put on a pitching clinic. Aaron Boone said afterwards, quote, "That was probably as good a performance as there's been against us this year." Tonight in the series finale, Luis Gil gets the ball for the Bombers. It's the second time he'll take the ball from Aaron Boone since coming off the IL. And he'll be looking to build off that last outing on the south side of Chicago, where he spun 6 shutout innings of 1-hit ball against the Cubbies. Coverage for tonight's game begins at 6:30 on Prime Video with the pregame show, followed by first pitch a little after 7. It's the Yankees and the Royals in their last regular season meeting tonight. Coverage starting at 6:30 on Prime with full post-game coverage on Yes after the final out.
Security Dodge. Go see Michelle Scalesian.
Come get some.
Yeah. And then I'd like to say good evening to Don.
I loved it. I rubbed it on myself.
And to Griffin and Don.
I have a fan that's a Jet. I have a friend that's a Jet fan.
I was going to say, you have fans?
And to myself. Just to be clear, you are an adult man in America. Dipperstein, I'm on the air right now. Why are you calling me? You're my agent. You're supposed to know.
Absolute ignorance.
I'm on the air.
Look, I try to get you for anytime I can during your commercial break.
You're talking to Don and Michael and the entire tri-state. Do you have anything to say?
He's on delays. We'll probably listening on the air.
Wow, I'm a big fan of the show. Big fan.
All right, I'll call you during a commercial, all right?
Get to work.
All right, much love.
All right, go get me a job. Goodbye. Get my deal done here.
Is he a victim of the app? Is he a victim of the delay?
No, and
is he try to call you during a commercial?
He's always trying to hit me during commercials.
Well, I think he, like everybody else in the tri-state area, Don, turned on 880.
Oh.
They hear the Mets, and they don't think that we're actually doing a show.
That's right.
Never really promoted the fact that, oh, yeah, the show will go to 1050. It's a little too complicated for my liking, everybody.
Well, I will say, Michael, this is why the easy thing to do if you're that's right. If you were resetting your preset, you get the ESPN New York app. So easy. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I had Paul O'Neill text me. He goes, "Are you off today?" Because when he gets into his car every day, he wants to listen to the show.
Now, you know me, I like to sit back sometimes, throw on the old transistor radio, and listen to a ball game. But today I wanted to hear Michael K., Dom LaGreca, and Paul Rosenfels.
Rosenfels.
All right, guys, let's jump into some Ian, shall we? Talk some foosball to get things started. Yesterday we talked about Kayvon Thibodeau not being super kind to our friend Jordan Ronald.
No, hurtful, actually.
Yeah, he didn't want to answer his questions, skipped right over him. Well, today it seemed like spirits were a little bit better between Kayvon and Jordan.
Start this off by saying me and Jordan Rennan, we slap boxing after this, so charity event. Y'all can buy your tickets, get them at Giants.com, and Dion's going to be the referee. I don't like my chances much.
Now, he didn't get to the point where he said his last name correctly. But then again, there are different, I say, we've heard Ronan, what do you call him, Redden?
Rannon. This is tough. Let's hear it again. Hold on.
Start this off by saying me and Jordan Rennan, we slap boxing after this.
I think there's some ease in there.
Jordan Rennan.
But that's good. I'm glad that they've had a nice peace treaty.
Me and so am I.
But they didn't see it. But did they really make up?
No.
Because I don't know. It sounds more like someone said to Kayvon, you really shouldn't be that way.
Yeah,
that wasn't very nice.
The guy's ESPN. You know, you don't want to be the bad guy.
He's here, and he's here every day. I mean,
but you know what? It's one awkward question away from it all crumbling down again.
Well, speaking of some awkward questions, or not really, just questions altogether for Kayvon Thibodeau. Hey, Kayvon, what was the Giants' issues in Week 1?
I think we all were the issue, to be honest. I don't think there's a, one person or one play that dictated the game. I think, you got to play kind of cohesive football where offense helps complements the defense complements the offense, and we just didn't execute on it.
Now, here's Kayvon on facing my Washington Commanders this week.
I would say Washington in particular, they're not really a rival, but they're a, what would you call it, in-conference? Yeah, in-conference. In our same division, there we go. They're in our division, so it's always a great game. We see them twice a year, so I'm excited. Jaden Daniels is a great quarterback. He's from Cali. Grew up knowing him, grew up with him, so I understand, he's a great player, and I'm excited to go against him.
So what bothers me the most here? Doesn't even think there's a rivalry whatsoever, or isn't aware that they're in the same division?
I think
that
the
doesn't
latter.
surprise me.
How do people? Well, isn't it weird, man? They don't know things like that. Aren't these guys football fans?
But
Maybe they know.
Remember, Peter, you always have these situations. They don't know about timeout situations.
No, I know. It's there's stuff like that all the time. I mean,
but that to me is inexcusable. You should know the rules of the game you're playing.
Rules unacceptable.
But these guys are so focused on, who's up next and is it possible? He hasn't been here that long. You would think by now, though, if you're playing them twice, there's a very good chance they're in your division. But are they just so solely focused on what's next that there are a lot of players that don't even know who's in their division?
I think also these guys are so young. Kayvon's what, 24? These kids are so young. They're of this era, Don, that roots for players more than teams.
Yeah,
so they didn't even care about divisions. Like the idea of being a football fan and not knowing. So you don't know any history between the. I guess there's no any between Washington and New York?
really think, and I think this is for all sports, not just football. Michael can talk about baseball. I can certainly talk about hockey. That just because you play it and play it at an elite level doesn't mean that you're a fan. Doesn't mean that you grew up being a fan. They play the sport, but they may not have followed it. And as you said, it's a generation that probably gets a lot of information based on the video game they played or the players that they liked and enjoyed watching.
Well, you know what? The perfect person for him to talk to about this, because he's from New Jersey and went to the University of Maryland, Jordan Rennan. They can have a nice conversation, get educated on the rivalry.
Here's the one thing I've always found about players, and I'm not saying this in a negative way, because, my all-time favorite is Don Mattingly.
Donnie Baseball.
Yeah, when he got to the Yankees, he had no idea who Lou Gehrig was. None. And I contend that the guys that are good enough to be professional athletes, they played all the time.
Right, they couldn't pay attention.
They weren't like reading biographies like dorky Michael Kay. They weren't like looking at baseball cards in the back. They didn't do that. They didn't care. They were playing. So I think you just have a different level of appreciation of the sport when you play.
I do think that is a thing. You do find the players, Michael, sometimes who are both. Like they obsessed over the game and obsessed over watching it.
Like A-Rod was.
Yeah, they exist, these like real students of the game.
Yeah, but they're rare. I think the majority of the players are not fans. They don't watch when they're not playing, didn't watch as a kid.
And they were so good always. They were such athletes that they were always doing stuff related to their own athletic career. Dan Orlovsky, who we're going to be joined by shortly, he was on ESPN radio earlier, and he's got some concerns about Danny Dimes.
There's no doubt a butterfly effect of he doesn't have any protection in many parts of his career, so there's no trust in protection. There's no trust in pocket movement. There's no trust in play calls. There's no trust in people down the field to cut the ball loose. I've always said that one of his greatest flaws is he's intelligent and highly intelligent, and so he expects what the play is on paper or in the meeting room to be exactly that on the field, and that 1 + 1 = 2. You become a robot. That's just not ball. And so the instincts or any that he had are gone.
Well, that sounds like seeing ghosts, which Sam Darnold had.
Yeah. You know what was interesting? Sam Darnold was back in the location of seeing ghosts. He didn't see ghosts. He was seeing Justin Jefferson streaking across the field, catching the ball.
There's something there.
I like it.
I always believed that the Jets were the worst enemy of Sam Darnold. I think if he got drafted by somebody else, I'm not saying he'd be an elite quarterback, but we thought going to Carolina was going to help him, but it turned out Matt Rule was not the genius we thought he was. He was in San Francisco briefly and probably learned a lot in that short period of time he was there. And now with a stud wide receiver, another good offensive mind to work with, I think there's something there. It might be too late for it to be elite, but I think he's got a decent future that he can get up from it and make something of his career.
No, I'm a fan.
May I update you guys?
Is this another Mets update?
Yeah, it's important. 102 pitches for Francis.
Oh, no.
7 no-hit innings.
Now, will he be allowed?
No.
See, you're taking a out of the sport. Now, listen, I don't want to see the Mets get no hit. Don't get me wrong. But another example, like, the baseball's trying to kind of get something going here, and there's a pitcher with a no-hitter through 7, and the chances of him being able to hang around and do it, he can't because he's got 102 pitches. Michael, there's nothing left to this Toronto season. Hey, go out and pitch 130, pitch the no-hitter. We'll shut you down for the rest of the year.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. It's so counter. They think that it's like baseball. The game of baseball thinks the game's inherently better if people are hitting. But at the same time, they're missing out the fact that if you don't get moments like this from pitchers, you don't have stars. No one wants to watch is there anything more anticlimactic than the team no-hitter?
No,
it's such a nothing burger. When I see that, it's not a thing. All right, now, what is a thing is football. A very popular thing, guys. The NFL averaged 21 million viewers per game during the league's opening week, making it the most watched week 1 on record. The league and Nielsen said Wednesday morning that the per-game average on TV and digital was a 12% increase over last year. Pretty amazing, guys, when you think about what we talked about, the insane prices to get the ticket this year.
It's amazing.
$500-$600 for people to get the ticket, and it was setting records.
They're unstoppable.
They are unstoppable, Michael.
And then when, halftime Super Bowl, Kendi performs, it's going to be even bigger.
I'd love for you to stop calling him Kendi. I'm not into it.
Just for his own well-being.
For Michael's?
Yeah.
Well, just for Kendrick's respect. This man, he's won a Pulitzer Prize.
And we've seen, if you go on his bad side, it
you mean
he doesn't want that up in a song.
You mean Michael doesn't want a not like us to end up about him?
I don't want that smoke.
You don't want the smoke.
But I'm saying it lovingly, Kendi.
By the way, no, let me not bring that up.
No. You know what? The only thing worse would be calling Mike Lupica Loopy. I've seen it one time. It was ugly.
I would never do such a thing. All right, guys, let's see some injury updates. Dolphins running back Raheem Mostert will not play in Thursday night's game against the Bills, according to Mike McDaniel. So that is a major loss if you guys are considering touching that game.
Now, was that Mike McDaniel or AI Mike McDaniel? We got to check.
Well, they're very similar, by the way. Mike McDaniel, I think, may be AI Mike McDaniel.
Like overall, not just that one isolated incident.
Also, don't know if you saw this, Michael. Larry David is going on tour.
I saw that.
He put up a very Larry David-like video, sort of mocking himself, but saying tickets are going on sale for this thing. It's really nothing. If you want to come, it might be a waste of time. But, Michael, I got to tell you, is it like so counter to Larry, or at least to me on paper, that he would announce he's done, Curb is over, and now he can't stop doing performances?
No, I don't think. Honestly, not to debate you. I don't think that at all. He said Curb was over. He didn't say he was retiring.
I just feel like if someone else was doing that, Larry would go, "Isn't enough enough already?" What, you're going on a world tour now?
I wonder if he's going to use me as a moderator, because this is where it started, Peter.
Well, he just did a whole bunch. Did he use you for any of those?
No.
So, yeah, it's unlikely then. But I just now wish he would have continued Curb. It was so good.
But that's a completely different animal. A lot more
You know how much work it is?
The show.
This show that he's doing, Peter, I mean, I don't want to, undercut him. It's the easiest thing you could possibly do.
No,
he's sitting on stage for an hour and a half and somebody's asking him questions.
Yeah, and he just chats. And he gets a big bag of cash at the end.
A big bag, I'm sure.
Although, I wonder how much he cares about the bags of cash.
He doesn't need the money, I'm sure.
But like you would say, Michael, he still likes the money. You know what I mean?
He doesn't like money.
It's a great point. That'll do it for ENN on this Wednesday afternoon. Brought to you by our friends at Security Dodge. Shop 24/7 at securitydodge.com during their Ram Power Days.
Now, when we come back, we're going to find out exactly what Doogie Howser, GM or agent, has for Peter. He's going to call him back, and we're going to find out as a group why Doogie called him.
It better be worth it, Peter, or we're going to destroy
Because if it's just like a nothing burger.
How you doing? Just checking in.
I'm just checking how you doing.
Oh, no. Guys, I've just been attacked over text message by Mike Lupica.
Do you want to tease that or say what you have?
No, you'll have to wait till the other side to see what happened.
Here we go. It's one of my least favorite terms on the other side, but we'll come back on the other side right here on Yes, and I guess 10:50 a.m.
Want to stop hair loss in its tracks? Through Hims.com, you can explore a range of options that work best for you, so you can grow visibly thicker and fuller hair. Get back your robust head of hair in just 3 to 6 months with doctor-trusted ingredients like finasteride, minoxidil, and a blend of supplements that support healthy hair. 3 in 4 Hims customers say they wish they started using hair treatment earlier. Stop hair loss and regrow hair. Get started today at Hims.com.
Switch to Square and join over 4 million businesses worldwide. Turn tables fast with Square Register at the counter or Square Terminal in your hand. Get a POS that connects to a KDS to handle orders ASAP. Easily take orders in person or online. And with Square Banking, get a loan quickly for everything from small repairs to the biggest dreams. Gain time and peace of mind with restaurant tools that bring everything together. Switch to Square today. Visit square.com to get started.
If we weren't proud of the craftsmanship and level of detail that go into every pair of Warby Parker glasses, well, we probably wouldn't show you how they're made, including this part, which is our favorite. Wow. And this is also great. Each pair comes standard with lenses that are scratch-resistant, anti-reflective, and UV protective. Try 5 pairs for free at warbyparker.com.
Let's explore your future with Udemy. You can learn how to program and build websites, study design and create logos, improve your presentation skills, and sell your ideas. With Udemy, you can learn practical skills from thousands of online courses taught by real-world experts. Explore your future. Udemy.
With ButcherBox, you never have to worry about what's for dinner. We deliver grass-fed beef, organic free-range chicken, humanely raised pork, wild-caught seafood, and so much more. Get high-quality meat sourced from trusted partners with free shipping always, so you can always be prepared and enjoy the important things. Sign up for ButcherBox today.
Acorns is built to put investing at the center of your money. Every time you pay for something, they invest the spare change. Every time you get your paycheck, they automatically invest a little bit of it. And even when you buy from some of your favorite brands, Acorns gets you bonus investments. Yes, that's what it means to be growth-minded, to find every chance you can for your money to grow. Acorns, grow your own.
To do. But with some innovative design changes, we did it. Our problem, my solution. Untuckit.com.
If there's one thing we like, it's choices. And your Ford dealer is the place to start. With a full lineup of vehicles and available powertrains. Get your ideal combination of power and capability with gas, hybrid, or all electric. But more important than the power you choose is what you choose to do with it.
Right now, returning lessees can lease a Ford F-150 for $299 a month for 24 months, only at your local Ford stores.
Do you suffer from knee pain? Ever been diagnosed with osteoarthritis? Or worried about the risks involved with knee surgery?
It hurt all the time, like the nerves were rubbing against each other.
I was at the point of either replace my knees because I'm tired of this pain.
Get the relief you need without surgery. We're Arthritis Knee Pain Centers, the premier leaders in non-surgical knee pain treatments. Instead of surgically replacing your knees, our state-of-the-art procedures replenish the depleted natural cushioning in your joints with an FDA-approved shock shock-absorbing gel without surgery and without downtime.
After the first injection, I knew it was going to work.
We've successfully treated thousands of patients. Medicare and most private insurance cover this procedure.
Full motion, no pain, walking, everything just back normal like it used to be.
Locations in Garden City, Smithtown, and Wall, New Jersey. Call 1-800-834-5911 for a no-charge, no-obligation knee pain assessment or go to arthritis-kneepain.com.
If you're an asbestos victim, pay close attention. Billions of dollars are being paid out to people like you. We should know. We're Whites in Luxembourg, the law firm that already won over $9 billion for men and women just like you. That's right, over $9 billion for mesothelioma sufferers and their families. We know you're short of money, and we know you're short of time, so we fight hard. Call Whites in Luxembourg at 917-LAWYERS. That's 917-LAWYERS. Whites in Luxembourg, winning big for the little guy.
1-0 Blue Jays, bottom of the 7th. And although everybody is, paying attention to Bowden Francis, by the way, named after the football coach Bobby Bowden.
How about that?
Sean Manaea once again pitched brilliantly, Don. He's been great.
He has been.
But he just got taken out after 6 2/3, and the Blue Jays have runners on first and second with 2 men out, so the Mets are going into the bullpen. They want to keep it at 1-0. They have 2 more shots. Now, Francis has thrown 102, and this year his high has been 117, Don.
And that was the no-hitter he lost in the 9th, correct? Last time
I believe so, yes. That was August 24th against the Angels. He threw 117.
So, again, I don't know if that affects what his pitch total will be today, because 117 is pretty high. But if 117 is his limit, then I would expect him to come out in the 8th. Because it's not crazy to think that he could possibly at least be in the territory to get to the 9th inning.
But then what do you
before
do?
He hit 117.
See, that's what managers always think about. So if he has like a normal 15-pitch inning, are you letting him go?
All right. Now, for people that don't know, that's the objective, is to try to somewhere in the neighborhood of 15 pitches per inning. That's the standard. So that would tell you that he'll probably, if he does that, he is going to be at 117 through 8.
Right.
So I love this line of demarcation that gets completely made up by managers and analytic people. Oh, we'll go 120, but if he throws the 21st pitch, he's going to spontaneously combust. I realized that what happened to Santana back in 2012 was excessive. It was 135 pitches.
Well, he was coming off arm surgeries.
I get that. But you've got a kid who's already thrown 117 pitches. He's got a no-hitter through 7 innings. Again, you don't want to get crazy, and if he goes out there and throws 125 pitches through 8, all right, then I can understand. Logic tells you he's not going to get a 3-pitch inning in the 9th inning, then you're going to have to pull him. But I'm going to send him out in the 8th inning. If he's able to get out, say, 10 pitches, and it's at 112, then I'm going to trot him out there in the 9th inning, and then I'll have a number in my head that I will tell him, and then act accordingly. But yeah, I do think there's something special about the possibility of a no-hitter, and we're talking about 1 or 2 pitches here. And what exactly is the number, Michael? You throw how many pitches in the bullpen before you start the game? You throw 8 warm-up pitches. So what is the actual number? Like, he's thrown 102, but between the throw day, the warm-ups earlier in the game, I mean, we're talking about hundreds of pitches that are thrown by a guy in preparation for a game. So what's a couple of pitches here and there when you've got history?
It's so weird.
I mean, doesn't it seem kind of made up?
Well, it is, Robert, because you know what? It's all farcical. It's Tonka, as you would like to say.
Yeah.
Because remember, the Jabba rules?
Yeah,
well, look at Luis Heel. He threw 4 innings last year. He's blown past that. The hard and fast rule used to be you can only increase by 40 from the previous year. So it's all made up. It's all made up.
Speaking of hard and fast,
Reed Garrett, by the way, just struck out Springer for the final out. Let me just close this out, Peter. Those are Diamond Notes brought to you by London Jewelers. Visit London Jewelers today at any of their 7 locations, including the Americana Mall and the mall at Short Hills, and it does look as if Francis is coming out to pitch the 8th. Sorry, Peter.
It's too late. The joke is dead.
Yeah, because it's all about timing.
It was the lot. It was wide open. It was a hard and fast joke.
I didn't know. I thought you were giving me the Lupica text. I'm sorry.
No. I went speaking of hard and fast, and then I had a great current event reference to reference there.
Okay.
And
you don't want to revisit?
I'd rather now it would be too deliberate. It's about a colleague of ours and something that has happened today that is a big deal on social media. That's all.
Okay, so what was the text that you were going to tell us?
This is super upsetting. Mike Lupica, the great Mike Lupica, one of the great, I don't know, in many ways, the conscience of New York City. He just texted me one word: whiner.
What did you want the respect of being called by your name?
He also texted me, Don, and he said they sound too much alike. One needs to start speaking like an Aussie.
And somebody else on Twitter agreed. Listen,
I don't think you guys sound
Peter
alike.
to say, because we obviously are biased, but I don't think we sound anything
I
alike.
really don't think so either, but if Mike says it, I agree.
Oh, you're such a kiss butt, man.
When it comes to him, yes, he's been very good to me.
I understand that, Michael, but, do the math. Man's in his 70s now.
So what does that mean? His dad lived to 102.
No, and I get it. He's going to live to 125. But as far as doing things for you, Michael, I think that ship has already sailed.
Listen, and I'm not even framing it the way Don did, like, oh, I want respect. I was just having some fun because there's always that moment where it happens. It doesn't happen to Michael. It's not a thing Michael experiences. But Don and I occasionally get called by the wrong name. And when it happens, we look at each other and kind of make a "that's unfortunate" face. And we don't keep anything from the audience. We just brought it to the air, and that was all.
It's funny. So
it's not a big deal.
You know what? You hurt the man.
No, get over it.
Come on.
All right, let's take a brief timeout. We'll come back. One out in the 8th inning. The no-hitter's still intact. It's Kay LaGreca Rosenberg and you on Yes and on 1050 AM.
Want to keep your hairline where it is? Through Hims.com, you can explore a range of options that work best for you, so you can grow visibly thicker and fuller hair in just 3 to 6 months. Keep it looking strong for years to come with doctor-trusted ingredients like finasteride, minoxidil, and a blend of supplements that support healthy hair. 3 in 4 Hims customers say they wish they started using hair treatment earlier. Get ahead now to keep the hair you love. Get started today at Hims.com.
With ButcherBox, you never have to worry about what's for dinner. We deliver grass-fed beef, organic free-range chicken, humanely raised pork, wild-caught seafood, and so much more. Get high-quality meat sourced from trusted partners with free shipping always, so you can always be prepared and enjoy the important things. Sign up for ButcherBox today.
Switch to Square and join over 4 million businesses worldwide. More than a point of sale, Square keeps you ready for any restaurant rush. And with Square, there are no hidden fees ever. At Square, get 24/7 support to help keep lines moving. And with Square Banking, get a loan quickly for everything from small repairs to the biggest dreams. Gain time and peace of mind with restaurant tools that bring everything together. Switch to Square today. Visit square.com to get started.
And I am so excited to bring my recipes back to the Home Chef menu. Everyone loved the last partnership so much. When Home Chef asked to partner again, it was a no-brainer for me. I love that we have so much variety in this menu. We have seafood, we have beef, we have chicken, we have a vegetarian. These look so good, you guys. They're delicious, super flavorful recipes that I know you're gonna really love. For a limited time, find half-baked harvest recipes on the Home Chef menu.
How easy is it to play the lottery with Jackpocket? Step 1, grab your phone. Step 2, download Jackpocket and start ordering tickets for your favorite state lottery games. Step 3, let the good times roll. Jackpocket is so easy to use from home or on the go. And there have been over $500 million in total prizes won. So now, the easiest way to enjoy the lottery is right in your pocket. Jackpocket. Jackpocket. Download America's #1 lottery app today.
Downy Rinse and Refresh. Fights odor in just one wash. Guaranteed.
At Domino's, we know some companies are guilty of shrinkflation. They're giving you less for the same price. So, we're taking our biggest deal and we're making it even bigger. We call it moreflation. For a limited time, when you mix and match any 2 or more medium 2-topping pizzas for $6.99 each online, we'll upgrade 1 medium pizza to a large for free.
You sure about that?
Yup.
You sure about that?
Positive. Get moreflation, not shrinkflation, only at Domino's. Thanks. Wait. We're giving you more.
Is it possible to be more capable and more practical? Be able to perform here and here. Make a statement while barely making a sound. And command the road as well as what lies ahead. How we get there matters. Get exceptional offers at your local Audi dealer.
They're going to the bottom of the 8th. Bowden Francis has a no-hitter against the Mets.
Yes.
Don, he got 3 outs in the 8th inning on 6 pitches.
I was just telling Anthony that. Because let's be honest. You could say, all right, it's getaway day. Mets just want to get out of Dodge, whatever. If the game's 7-0, okay, maybe I can buy that. If the Mets are out of it, then I can buy that. You need every win. It's a 1-0 game. You have to know if I can work the count and get his pitch up that they may have to go to the bullpen in the 9th inning, even if he has a no-hitter. And he's already at 102 pitches, and he gets out of the inning in 6 pitches. So now he's definitely coming out for the 9th.
You would think so. Since he has a high of 117 now, if he gets to 120, he gets to 120. Now, this sets up for the Mets in this way. This could be one of the most demoralizing losses that you could ever have because they're not hitting, and if they get no hit and they lose this game and they lose 2 out of 3 to the Blue Jays, it's going to sting. Or let's look at the bright spot, Don and Peter. If they come back and win this game, it would be one of the more uplifting games that they would ever have.
Yeah, and the good news is if they can break up this no-hitter, then the go-ahead run comes to bat. I mean, it's only 1-0.
Yep.
So it still could very well happen for them, and
it would be it would be reminiscent of the Washington series a few weeks ago. If they could just steal this one, why not? Who cares? The no-hitter really doesn't matter. You're down 1 run.
You've got Bader, who almost hit a home run, leading off the next inning, I believe. I'm sorry, no, because Winker pitched hit for him, and so who's up? I guess is Lindor leading off the 9th inning? I got to check.
Well, Guerrero just missed a home run.
Yeah, just missed.
He drove Winker to the wall, but he made the catch. It wasn't an unbelievable catch. There was one unbelievable catch against the Mets. That was Davis Schneider in left field.
That's right.
It's Lindor, Iglesias, Vientos.
All right, so you got the top of the order coming up against the pitcher that is 108 pitches in, so it still could happen here. Now, the Mets did get no hit against San Francisco and still made the playoffs, so it's not like a death sentence at all, but it would be a second consecutive loss, 3 of your last 4. You're not hitting, and it would have just gotten no hit. So Mike Lupica has said he's concerned, and why wouldn't you be, Michael? I mean, they're finding ways to win, which is great, but boy, even while winning in that Cincinnati series and before that, they're just not hitting. So hopefully this is not the start of something, because this is the worst time for their offense to go south. It just is. Well, and their pitching is there. It's a 1-0 game, but you got to score to win a game.
If Francis falters and gives up a hit, they do have Chad Green up in the bullpen, and Green has had a pretty good year since taking over as a closer when Romero went on the IL. So very interesting. Listen, the no-hitter in terms of like being no-hit, that means nothing, but we're at the point now in the season, every single game means something, and the Mets have the hardest schedule left in baseball.
You know what's also interesting about this no-hit bid, especially this day and age, Michael? You know how many strikeouts he has?
What, 2?
1.
Wow.
I'm just looking at it here. He struck out Vientos, and that's it according to the box score. Yeah, so Yeah, I mean, they're putting the ball in play, Michael. They're hitting it right at him. And the baiter had the home run bid earlier in the game, and there's been a couple of hard hits right at somebody. So maybe it's just a matter of time here. But
time's running out.
Yeah, no. Listen, it is. But you do have the guy. Listen, it's been a great year for Lindor. So as you said, this can go from demoralizing to uplifting. So this is a big ninth inning for the Mets.
Up. It's not an easy fit. Now the Royals have a really good lefty on the mound in Cole Reagans. So Dominguez is a really subpar right-handed hitter, and I have the numbers against right-handed pitching. He has a 947 OPS. Against left-handed pitching, he has a 491 OPS. Now, if you want to just look at the old-time numbers, he has a 213 batting average against left-handed pitching in the minors and 341 against righties. So he's much better from the left side. All right, so that would be the time that you don't play him. You sit him, which is exactly what they're doing. He sits. Verdugo now has to play against a really tough left-hander. So even when Verdugo gets a chance to play, he's not going to play against a righty. He's going to play against a lefty. That's why it's an awkward fit. So the Mets make out, or the Blue Jays make out in the bottom of the eighth, and now the Mets will try to break up this no-hitter against Francis.
And the Yankees aren't hitting either.
No.
They were shut down by Lugo.
Lugo was amazing, Don. I don't know how much you watched.
He wanted to be a starter. I watched a good portion of it. He wanted to be a starter, given the opportunity by Kansas City. He had them off balance all night long.
And all he did was throw strikes.
Yeah. Chisholm was completely off. He couldn't. They couldn't do anything. It was amazing how well he pitched over 7 innings, and that's a pretty good team there in Kansas City. And that could end up being who you might match up with when you get to the playoffs, depending on how things shake down.
Well, if you end up with a wild card, you might match up with them.
So we'll see. The Orioles did gain a game as the Yankees were shut down. So, both New York teams are struggling offensively here down the stretch, although the Yankees are in much better shape because they know they're going to the postseason. The Mets still have work to do. But, God, Soto and Judge really struggling. Alonso's been struggling here. Lindor's kind of come back down to earth just a little bit. Baseball's hard, man. It just is.
No, well, it's endless. It's endless. And it seems like the second we all just started going, oh, my God, have you ever seen anything like Judge before? The second we started saying that, Michael, he ran into a slump.
Well, how about this? So Judge and Soto aren't hitting. Stanton's 1 for 22 in his last 6 games. Chisholm is 2 for 18 in his last 5 games. The only guy who's really Rizzo's 5 for 30 since coming off the IL. Volpe's 2 for his last 18. The only guy who's hitting is Gleyber Torres. He has an 11-game hitting streak, hitting 378 during that time. So that is the Pinstripe Report brought to you by Samuel Institute for Pain Management. For pain-free life, visit SamuelPain.com today. We should also mention, Don, that the Diamondbacks are winning. So that's one of the teams that the Mets are chasing. So that would make this doubly tough if they don't come back. So right now, Lindor does lead off, and Francis starts him off with a strike.
Yeah, he's just been pouring. He's been getting strike one like Lugo did last night. It just, when you get strike one and you're able to work through that, boy, it makes it so much easier to pitch.
You know what I liked about Lugo, too, Don? It wasn't all about high-octane velocity. He was throwing 92, 93. He's got 9 different pitches that he throws, mixing and matching. Just amazing. And that's a guy that if the Yankees do face the Royals, they're going to face him.
Lindor, solo homer, breaks up the no-hitter, ties the game at 1.
Come on.
Wow.
MVP.
Hold on.
MVP.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Wow.
Have Shohei steal a base up 8-0. This is the guy that's winning you the MVP.
Wow,
this is the guy that's getting it done. Breaks up a no-hitter with a leadoff home run.
That's a big. I'll give you a high five. Don, I'll go up top with you, buddy.
Oh, really? Look at that.
You deserve it.
That is huge.
That's good stuff.
I believe it was an 0-2 pitch.
It was.
Because that's the point you just made. Constantly behind in the count, it seems like. And then all of a sudden, boom!
And that was a no-doubter, everybody.
Oh, yeah, that was
a bomb.
And if they could somehow put another one on here, Don, doesn't this feel like that Nationals series where it seemed like every game was this?
Just finding
Go
ways
late
to
and
win.
find a way to
now,
win
they've
late,
only
steal
tied it, but now you're in the bullpen, non-save situation obviously here, and you've got the heart of the order now coming up here to try to see if they can't get the lead.
All right, so before that home run, guys, these numbers are a little distressing. 9 games for the Mets entering today. They were hitting .208 with 37 runs scored in 9 September games. So, as we said right at the start of this hour, this could be a demoralizing loss or just an uplifting, amazing win.
But the other amazing thing here about it, in those 9 games that you just gave those stats,
They won them, most of them.
They're 7-2.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
that's how great their pitching's been.
It's no way to live, to be able to score runs on pass balls and wild pitches and errors, and eventually you're going to have to start hitting here. But that's a big boy home run for Lindor, and we'll see if they can follow it up here.
I mean, what a year he's having.
He really is. It's been special, and I've argued this. Got to make the playoffs and all that. If you learned anything this year, you found out you got a manager, you found out you got an executive in Stearns, and you found out you've got the leader of your team. I mean, clearly he's become the leader. He's had a tremendous season. And listen, he'll never live up to the contract because the contract is just so obnoxious, but fans don't care about that in the now. Where would this team be? When we joke with Ohtani, we know Ohtani's going to win the MVP. Guy's going to go 50 and 50, unheard of stuff. I mean, it's special stuff. But when you talk about MVP, most valuable player, maybe the Dodgers find a way to get into the playoffs without Ohtani. But where would this Met team be without Lindor? Where would they be?
I mean, we don't know who the shortstop would be, but any shortstop would be hard-pressed to have that kind of production.
But again, I don't want to get caught up in the numbers. I just want to get caught up in the moments and how clutch he's been and the A-plus defender he is. Because the reason I think Lindor is going to get votes is, there's a lot of obnoxious writers out there that will not vote for a DH. So Lindor is going to get first-place votes. He won't get enough, but he'll get some. And you also, and I know Ohtani's a pitcher, but not this year. You're talking about a Gold Glove caliber shortstop. I mean, that is part of the game, Michael. That's part of winning baseball. He's being able to make plays with your glove.
Magnificent.
Yeah, he's been he won't win it, but he's going to come in second, and I think he'll get first place votes.
So Chad Green is on. He's pitched well this year, coming back from Tommy John surgery, and now the Mets want to win this game. Breaking up the no-hitter, I mean, and if you lose, it's a Pyrrhic victory, so you need to win this game. So Iglesias is at the plate right now against Green.
Like I said, the numbers are still going to be bad offensively.
Right.
The home run didn't save them as far as how the stats have been. But if you could find a way to win the game, then you start thinking, this team's finding ways, getting things done. So we shall see.
Now the Mets have Edwin Diaz up to pitch the bottom of the 9th inning.
And the Mets now have a man on second.
Yeah, throwing error. So runner at second, nobody out.
A ground ball at third, thrown away.
How do you like that? So now you got. Now you're actually in position, Don.
Well, now you're good. Now you could bunt and get a guy over to third.
That's exactly right.
Diaz up now. See, that's baseball, Susan.
Oh, you bunting Diaz here? Is that possible?
No, Diaz up in the bullpen.
Oh, sorry. Who's up to bat?
Well,
we're in the middle of the lineup. I forgot. Vientos is up.
Bunting Vientos.
You're not bunting Vientos. Let him swing.
And you just hope he hits the ball to the right side. But, or he could hit a ball over the wall, too.
Now, these days, Michael, in this modern day of baseball, players can still hit the ball to the right side, right?
Well, you know what? If they had you on the team, Peter, you'd lay down a beautiful bunt.
Oh, you kidding me? Now, I might not beat it out, but I guarantee you what, I'd move the runner over.
You know what? Who we have on the line right now? Every Wednesday this time.
That's right.
The great Dan Orlovsky. We will keep you up to date on what's happening in Toronto. It's 1-1 right now, top of the 9th inning. And Dan joins us on the show. Dan, how you doing today?
I'm doing fantastic. How are you guys? We're
doing okay. We heard what you said earlier about Daniel Jones, but we want to hear it from the horse's mouth. Let's say you're grading on an A, B, C, D, E, F scale. How did Daniel Jones do in that game?
Oh, I would give him an F in that game. I think listen, one, there was 2 interceptions thrown, probably could have thrown 3 or 4. 2, I think some of the RPOs that they ran, I don't think his decision-making on the RPOs were really good. 3, there were some misses that didn't lead to almost interceptions, but just missed throws. As a quarterback that's supposed to be highly intelligent and really accurate, he's got to hit some of that stuff. I thought he got stuck on some progressions that could have led to maybe some easier stuff. And then, again, not knowing when pressure's coming and when it's not coming was an issue again. So I would give him an F in regards to, I understand, like the Van Ginkel pick six, it sucks. It's a bad break throw. I don't know if there's a ton he could do on that one, but, you know, you're looking for signs of life and signs of improvement or signs of things that you can hang your hat on. I just didn't see any of that. And to get, you know, wildly outplayed by a guy that, you know, everyone thinks stinks, it's tough. It's a tough performance.
Listen, we know he has his limitations, but it's not like we haven't seen life. Forget about 2022. This is a guy who threw, what, like 25 touchdowns his rookie year? I mean, we have seen glimpses. It hasn't been consistent, but we've seen some ability there. Is it a confidence issue? Is it a talent around him issue? Why has there been such a regress in his career here?
I think Daniel Jones is shell-shocked. I think Daniel Jones is absolutely scared to do anything bad. I think that, you know, the way I've kind of correlated is imagine like that scale of 0 to 10, right? And I thought in 2022, what Brian Dable did a great job of was, okay, we're not going to take Daniel. 0 is, let's play as I guess, it was worry-free, and we're not going to do anything bad with the football, to 10 being, oh, my gosh, you're the most reckless player in the NFL. He changed it to 0 to 5. Like, he never gave him the opportunity to get to 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And I think Daniel has now governed himself down to like a 3. There's no freedom in his play. There's very much so a robotic element. And so I think there's a shell-shocking of, oh my gosh, I've been hit a ton. I've got injuries. Everyone thinks I stink. This is a city that's unbelievably passionate and no one likes me. And I don't want to be the reason that we lose games. You know, I think Daniel's at that point where, like, he's not trying to be the reason they win games, but he's certainly trying to be the reason that they not be the reason they lose. And right. I think that is just, there's a lot of butterfly effect to that when you play that position, man.
Do you think that a move to lock is going to happen?
I think if it doesn't get significantly better, it has to happen. It has to. Like, Brian Dable is going to have to do it. Joe Shane's going to have to do it. You're going to have to do it for that locker room. I just think unless there's a significant uptick in the performance and also that performance marrying wins, you guys know this league. Like, it's just, at some point, you got to change that most important, most impactful position to somebody else to see if there's some different type of result. And so, yeah, unless it changes quickly in a relatively significant way, for sure, Drew Lock will be the person.
I guess we need to know how they feel about Lock, because if you go back to Hard Knocks, you got the sense that he was the insurance policy in case Jones wasn't ready to start the season. But if they brought him in because they think there might be something there, then you might see him sooner than later, right?
Yeah, and it's also, okay, so obviously this is all hypothetical. I don't think anybody hopes that Daniel Jones continues to play at a poor level. I think everyone's like, gosh, just as a human being, can he have some success so he gets like a good week mentally? Living in the world where there's not a ton of improvement, at some point as the head coach, it doesn't matter who the other person is really. You can't continue to lie to your locker room. And at some point, if the defensive guys and your offensive linemen, you're going to go, we're going to try something different. And whether they think Drew Lock is the future or better or whatnot, you can't just continue to roll out the same thing and expect to get the same level of excitement, commitment, effort from a group that is going to feel defeated.
Talking with Dan Orlovsky, his weekly segment on the show. The Mets have the bases loaded in the ninth inning. They've broken up the no-hitter. It's a 1-1 game. Alonso's at the plate, 1-2 with the bases loaded. Now let's move over to the Jets, Dan.
Oh, boy.
Same grading system. What did you give Rodgers on Monday night?
Yeah, I'd probably give him a C+. Yeah, I was a little bit more optimistic than I think a lot of people were, certainly Mad Dog, about the Jets' performance. I wanted him to see three things, really. One, could he still throw it in a game? You know, I know I can see clips on social media with no pads on, but could he still make some, oh my gosh, Aaron throws? And he did that to Garrett Wilson. He did that to Lazard. a couple times, so I saw him still being able to, like, oh, he can still spin it. I think, two, what was the connection with Garrett like? Was it real? Again, you hear all the, oh, my gosh, these guys in practice look amazing. And I think we saw 5 or 6 elements of that. You go, yep, that connection's going to be really good this year. I think Garrett goes for 110 catches or something. And then how does this offensive line look pass pro-wise, you know? And could they hold their own against a really big-time front in San Francisco? And I thought they did that. So I'm encouraged by that. I think there were 2 misses from Aaron, one being the interception where you can tell he's a little hesitant in the pocket and he feels pressure that's not there. And, you know, he misses a throw good 2 or 3 feet behind a guy. So I was optimistic. That's a really difficult unit to prepare for in week 1. Did it look worse than I expected? Sure, but I also don't think the Jets are going to have 2 possessions where the ball goes to the other team in the first play or 2. So I think I'm optimistic.
Does he seem a little less nimble than he used to be? Does he seem a little slow?
I think there was a couple examples, maybe him spinning out over his shoulder to his left, getting out of the pocket where he kind of throws it away, where, you know, I don't know if he's fully as sudden as maybe he might get to. And, I don't think he's as nimble as he was 3, 4, 5 years ago. That's natural. I think he's plenty nimble enough. Again, first time playing, I think he'll only get better in that world. But I think that's going to be something that is going to be enough for him to play at a high level.
Mets take the lead. Pete Alonso, sacrifice fly, 2-1 now, top 9. Dan, we were talking earlier in the show. Tennessee plays a tough game in Chicago, makes some mistakes, comes up short. Will Levis certainly doesn't look like a world beater, but they did not play a bad game. What do you expect to see this Sunday in Tennessee from the Jets, and how concerned would you be if the Tennessee offense is also able to move the ball well on the Jets defense?
I would be highly concerned, especially if it looks the same. You know, now, one, I believe that the Jets defense was schematically an alignment set up to fail. I don't think that Robert Saleh and Oberek did a good job with that. As an offensive person, like, I got my guys to the second level consistently in the run game. That's on you guys, okay? So I think they'll tighten some of that up and give their guys a little bit more chance to be successful. You know, Tennessee with Brian Callahan, Levis, they didn't have a ton of success last week in anything really. And so I think that this Jets front, now the left side of Tennessee's offensive line is really good, but it's very young. The right side of their offensive line, so the left side of the Jets defense, should absolutely dominate this football game. It dominates the game. And so with the zone stuff and Will Levis still trying to figure it out, like, that defense shouldn't really give up more than 14 or 17 this week. I do think it's another good challenge for the Jets offense. You know, Bernard Wilson is the defensive coordinator for Tennessee, comes from Baltimore's place, and, you know, you're going to see a lot of different movement. You're going to see a lot of interior. The Titans defensive line is a freaking problem. I mean, Jeffrey Simmons and Sweat, their young rookie out of Texas, they're like 750 pounds of athlete. And so that's going to be a problem for the Jets, again, for their offensive line, just to try to handle that. But I think if they can, you know, put a couple drives together, not give the ball away, play really complimentary football, I do think the Jets should win.
All right, so here was my concern about Monday night, Dan. I want to run it by you. A lot of people that we respect have the Jets going far. They have them making the playoffs, maybe going a couple of rounds. Some have them going to the Super Bowl. Why should there have been that much of a disparity between a team that's legitimately that and the Jets?
Yeah, so number one, they were out-coached. There's no question about that. And I think a lot of teams will get out-coached by San Francisco, okay? I think, two, I want to be honest with you. That's a really difficult team to start the season with when it comes to coming off of training camp. It's hard to simulate the speed that they play at on both sides of the ball and the physicality that they play at both sides of the ball. Married with their scheme, it's just hard to simulate. You ain't going to get that, you know, practicing against the the Giants. You're not going to get that. And the way that they, as fast as they are and as physical as they are, that's just really hard to simulate in practice. And I think they were caught off guard a little bit by that and got, you know, overwhelmed by it a little bit. And so I understand that you're sitting there going, well, how is this team going to go to the Super Bowl? San Francisco is going to do that to basically everybody in the NFC outside of maybe. Like, I'll remind everybody, the year the Rams went to the Super Bowl, okay? San Francisco week 1 beat the absolute crap out of them.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just that's a tough unit to go against, especially early in the season.
Dan, great stuff as always. Thank you so much.
Thanks, guys.
All right, so Starling Marte with a sac fly. Now the Mets lead 3-1. Still batting in the top of the 9th inning.
You love to see it,
take
though.
Chad Green out.
Love to see this.
You love to see it.
That's right. So this is a win they needed.
All right, so they haven't won yet. Diaz has to close it out, and they're still
Damn
batting
right.
in the top of the 9th. So why don't you tell us about FanDuel, Peter, and we'll take phone calls when we get back as well.
It's a great point, Michael.
Listen, we get that ordering a suit online can seem a little risky. That's why we have a home try-on program. Go to theblacktux.com/try. With so many good options, it might be hard to choose. We'll ship your selection to you to try out for 48 hours on us. When it arrives, put it on and make sure every detail's perfect. Once your 2 days are up, pack it back in the box, attach the free shipping label, and send it back to us. And when you're ready to rent for real, just head back to the Black Tux and make your order official.
The next Powerball drawing is presented by Jackpocket. Jackpocket lets you order official state lottery tickets right on your phone. Just pick your numbers and place your ticket order. See a scan of your ticket right in the app. And get your winnings instantly. Go to jackpocket.com to get the app and get your first ticket free. Jackpocket, America's #1 lottery app.
Perfect balance between length and fit. Easy to say, not that easy to do. But with some innovative design changes, we did it. Our problem, my solution. Untuckit.com.
Feel October in the air today.
These games mean something. You want to win the division.
But this is the battle of the American League East.
Diversity is in our nature. Diverse cultures, identities, skills, and knowledge. Diversity is in nature, too. Biodiversity. Plants, animals, and ecosystems. It connects us and sustains us. But nature's biodiversity is at risk now more than ever before. And our own future is at stake. So ask yourself, how can you contribute to protecting all life on our planet? Because the future is in our hands.
Chase really knows how to put the heart in your local community. See what I did there? Hey, Jackie. Evan, my guy. You helping him with savings, right? I wish I had somebody like Evan when I started. Somebody just got their first debit card. Ice cream on you? Ooh, tacos. I got you. Wait, hold on. Don't you owe me money? What? Your money is a part of your community, so your bank should be too. Like Chase.
Nice to meet you. My name is David.
I've been a pharmacist for 44 years. When I have customers come in and ask for something for memory, I recommend Prevagen. Number one, because it's safe and effective, does not require a prescription. And I've been taking it quite a while myself, and I know it works. And I love it when the customers come back in and tell me, David, that really works so good for me. Makes my day.
Prevagen, at stores everywhere without a prescription.
Make this a summer to share in the three-row Kia Sorento, the tech-forward Sportage, the available all-wheel drive Seltos, or the IIHS Top Safety Pick Plus Telluride, each one recommended by Consumer Reports. This summer, visit your local Kia dealer. Get 0.9% APR for up to 48 months on the purchase of select new 2024 Sportage and 2024 Sorento models.
Here's your coffee.
Oh, best intern ever.
Oh, nice. You use Fiverr. Working on anything big? A marketing campaign? Product launch?
New towel design for the summer swag.
Are we sure we're making the best use of our talent?
Can I get some oat milk?
Sometimes great talent is right under your nose.
What's your name again?
I want to say Barbara.
Home run. Later in the inning, Francisco Alvarez hits his first home run, a 3-run shot, since August 19th. And if you're going to do something special in the season, you're going to need games like this, where you snatch victory from the jaws of defeat. And, I mean, they're about to get embarrassed. They're about to get no hit.
Lindor's up again.
And he's up again, so they've sent 10 men to the plate.
It is amazing. Well, listen, it's all about who's pitching, but you're getting no hit through 8, and then you bat around in the 9th inning. I guess all sports are like this, Michael, but because baseball's so long, it's a marathon of moments, and you just don't look at the numbers and the wins. It's like how they win games. Like you just gave the putrid offensive numbers over the last 9 games. They're 7-2 in those games, which means they're finding ways to win. They're pitching well. They've had signature moments. I mean, Lindor, who has been the MVP of this team, is the one that gets it going, breaks up the no-hitter, ties the game. I mean, what odds did you have that this would end up being a laugher in the Mets' favor when you enter the 9th inning? It is just, it's that kind of year. There's still tons of work to be done, and they still need to be able to make the playoffs. But there's something going on with this team, Michael, right now that makes you think that something might happen here that could be pretty significant.
And how about the season of Bowden Francis? He had a no-hitter going into the 9th inning against the Angels, and he gave up a leadoff home run to Turner Ward. Now he has a no-hitter going into the 9th inning against the Mets, and he gives up a leadoff home run to Francisco Lindor. And then, the bottom drops out. They took him out after the home run, but Chad Green had nothing. Now Cabrera, Genesis Cabrera has nothing. So just a great 9th inning. We said at the beginning of the 5 o'clock hour, this is going to be one of the most distressing losses that they had all year, or it's going to be an exhilarating win. It looks like it's going to be an exhilarating win.
Yeah, and now I would think, Michael, they got a day off tomorrow, and Diaz didn't pitch last night, but I don't think I bring him out with a 5-run lead. Do you?
No, I think they had somebody else up. They sat him down. So
I didn't see. So because you're going to be leaning on him a lot. You're probably going to have to down the stretch, Michael. You might have to go to him like 3 days in a row or something. So anytime I can give him a bit of a rest, I would try to take advantage of it, because every one of these games down the stretch are going to be huge.
All right, here's your chance to score a pair of tickets to see the Mets take on the Nationals on Tuesday, September 17th. They just scored 6 runs in the 9th, so be caller number 6 right now at 888-987-3776 to win. It's brought to you by the New York Mets. See the Mets take on the Nationals and the Phillies September 16th through the 22nd. Be there Wednesday the 18th when the first 15,000 fans receive a reversible hoodie presented by Citi. And on Saturday the 21st, all fans receive a fan appreciation beanie presented by Guardian. Plus, a pregame block party with ballpark fare, giveaways, and entertainment starting at 1:10 p.m. outside Citi Field. Visit Mets.com/tickets. All right, let's go to the phones. Danny in Long Island. Danny.
Danny. Big D.
Hey, how we doing, guys?
There he is.
You know, I called up at 3:15 because I'm working the evening shift. I put the phone down. I forgot I was on hold. I thought it was the app for 2.5 hours until I hung up just as the Mets were. I had all these stats about the Mets offense doing nothing, a complete washout. And I sit there for 2.5 hours watching them come within one inning of being no hit again. And then because this is the reason why we watch sports, you can't make it up. And now we're winning 6-1. My phone's lighting up, and there's battery in the power in the battery, and we're alive and well. And people all over the New York metropolitan area right now are telling their wives, "Yeah, let's order out. Let's have steak. We're feeling good. Let's do whatever you want." Yes, honey, you can order that shirt. No problem. We got money. It's just amazing how 30 minutes of your life can just change it. But I wanted to start off by thanking you guys for mentioning 9/11 at the beginning. I thought all three of you spoke well of the occasion and everything. And I listened to what you said, Don, and I thought about it, so I looked it up. 31% of the people in the country now are under the age of 30, which means they have no recollection. I mean, you could be at 6, 7 years old. I don't think you can really fathom it. But in another 5 years, it'll be 40% of the people in this country. That's unbelievable when you think about it. This is just the reality of what happened. I mean, how many people left that remember World War II or the Kennedy assassination? No, it just slips into the history books. But you guys did it justice today, and as a first responder, I appreciated that.
Oh, listen, it's
we appreciate what you did.
Do. And I don't know how you've dealt with it, Michael. I was talking with Nancy today because the kids are starting to ask questions about, like, the significance of the day because they see that things are going on and all that. And, like, when is it's too early, I think, for 6-year-olds to be told about that kind of devastation. But
I would think so.
Have you talked about it with your kids yet?
No, they have not really brought it up to this point. And, there's a lot of things that are happening in the world that we're kind of shielding them from at 9 and 11, but they are going to have to learn at some point. But I don't think now's the time. It's hard. It's hard.
I want to try to keep them as innocent as possible for as long as possible, right? But I guess they'll learn about it the way we learned about D-Day, right? The way we learned about the Kennedy assassination. I was not alive for those things. And, Michael, you were, 1 when JFK was assassinated?
2.
So you're going to, they'll learn about it at some point, but probably too soon now.
Let's go to Fran in Massapequa.
Hey guys, love this show. Thanks for the time.
You got it.
And God bless everybody. Who all those first responders and everybody we lost. We lost 2. I live in Viceroy, Massapequa, North Massapequa, and we lost Chris Sullivan, a wonderful fireman, and Peter Gansey, the highest-ranking uniformed fireman in the department. Just terrible.
Yeah.
But this is sports. Just to move on to something, a little more brighter, and we'll never forget. We'll never forget. And Mike, you're right. The kids get a little older. You talk about it. It's a little young.
Yeah. But, I mean, how do you explain what happened?
You just can't. You can't. And like I said, I see his wife walking around the neighborhood, driving around the neighborhood, and you'll never forget if you were there. It was one of the few days. My dad's 88. One of the few days I saw him cry. Because I have 3 brothers at the time, 2 living and 1 working in Manhattan, 2 lawyers and an operating engineer. My father and mother were a wreck. But we'll get through it. We've gotten through it. And the first responders are everything. The cops and the firemen and all those people are incredible. The Mets, unbelievable. I'm one of the worst Met fans there is. I admit it. I rip them. I beat them up. But this has been such a wonderful few months. But I just want to talk about one thing real quick. Michael, you were right. You said something the other day when they mentioned Hahn, said, "Oh, this wasn't a big loss. The loss we could." It was a devastating loss, and I'll tell you why.
Talking about the Jets.
I'm sorry, the Jets. Because of my opinion, strictly my opinion. Rodgers has walked around the last year and a half like he's God. He played, whatever. But the bottom line is they didn't show up for the game. It was big time San Francisco. You want to be on that level. They were embarrassed in almost every level. Now, they look great with the quarterback and the receiver. The first 10 minutes, they had 50 yards. But the coach was absolutely embarrassed, the head coach. It just goes to show you what coaching can do. They lost their start, the best running back in the league they lost. And they had a guy fill in who had one of the best games I've seen in a long time in that spot. Just a total choke job by the Jets. And I'm a Bears fan. For a year and a half, we got to listen about the Jets. The Jets, they got an 85 defense. They were embarrassed. They go and make a trade for a monster guy, pass rush guy, and the guy don't even play. It's the Jets. And a guy made a great remark. He said the Jets and the Mets, as long as you have ETS in it, there's going to be a lot of problems. Love you guys.
Throw the Nets into there too. So, but
I don't know if that's based on fact, but it's certainly by feeling.
It's a sports thing for sure. And the other thing too is I heard Dan Grassa talking about this, and he'll be following us here on 1050, and I guess eventually on 880 once the Mets post game is over. Is that you know there's a lot of teams, Michael, that are also sick of the Jets and sick of Aaron Rodgers. You might get up for the Jets a little bit more than you would for a team just like them, just because of not nearly as much attention this year as last year, but it's a thing. So they're not going to take anybody by surprise. I think there's a lot of people around the NFL that want to see this team fail.
It's interesting because we said at the beginning of the show how big this game is this week, and that the Tennessee's not a pushover. But then just listening to Orlovsky, he thinks that the Jets should push him over. He thinks that that's a game that the Jets should be able to put numbers up there. We'll see.
Well, if the Jets, it's kind of like if the Jets are what they're supposed to be, then that's what they should do. But we won't. It's hard for us to say at this moment what they're supposed to be, because we haven't seen it yet. So that's why this is such a telling weekend.
And also, we put a lot on this defense because statistically they're great, but they haven't had a chance to play in that many big games because the rest of the team has been bad. So, I mean, last year, they had their moment on opening night and they won the game, but for the most part, it was a lost season. The year before that, you're getting no quarterback play, getting nothing out of your offense. Now you're playing big games, and hey, it doesn't matter about statistics, right, Michael? It's about making big stops and big moments and helping your team win if the offense is struggling and getting turnovers and doing all the things that championship-level defenses do. They don't hand the Vince Lombardi trophy to who wins the statistical battle. They hand it to the teams that win games. So they can't get exposed the way they did against San Francisco for the rest of the season. That's easily the best team they're going to play all year, and that should be their one hiccup. We'll see.
Let's go to Chris in the Bronx. Chris.
Hey, what's up, gentlemen? You guys hear me well?
Yeah, what's up, man?
Well, today was a very good day. Shout out to Greeny. That speech that he did this morning made me cry. I'm trying not to be emotional now because it's like happy and then sad. I just want to shout out my father, Octavio Olivieri. He is a retired FDNY paramedic, and I remember seeing kids. I remember seeing people dancing in the street. I remember seeing people crying. I saw it all. I was in school at One Police Plaza right across the street. And I remember when my dad came to my grandma's house, and he was covered in like gray, black. And he smiled and said, "I'm a New York snowman." And, I was scared. I really didn't know what was going on. And he closed the door with my grandmother, and that's the first time I see my dad break down. And when he came out, he said, I just wanted to come here and see you, make sure you're safe. I'm going back out there. And I was like, Dad, come on, man, just stay home. Just stay home, man. It's scary. And he said, I got to make sure somebody else sees their kid. And, he made it home. He made it home. So shout out to everybody that is still in it. It's crazy. I feel like a baby, but, it's 20-something years later, and he's still crying about it sometimes. And there's a lot of people that there's a way to go, and a lot of people died, unfortunately, but there was a lot of people that died with honor that day. And I just want to shout out to all those families, all those people that deal with it. I'm sorry to get teary-eyed.
Listen, you have every right. Thank you, Dad, for service, and that's what makes the people, the first responders, so amazing. Most people in the world, when there's trouble, they move away from it. Those people moved toward it, and some didn't come out. Your dad, lucky enough, did. So you don't have to. You don't have to apologize for your emotion. I feel the same thing just hearing you talk about it, and he's not my dad. So thank you for that story. We'll be back.
I chose Upstart because I was on financial aid for school. It did run out. Once I found Upstart, I was kind of relieved. They're interested in my background. They were looking at more than just my credit score. I was able to get my money fast. I was able to consolidate all of those credit cards into one payment and raise my credit score so that I was able to make that move right after college.
Put it on the rest. Put it on the rest. Put it on the rest.
Never read a line of poetry, I'm not a poet, but I sit up in the back of my buttons cause I'm fresh. Never read a book on how to rip it, I just know it, I don't need your explanation cause I'm better than the rest. Better than the rest. Better than the rest. Let me take you for a ride. I can make you feel alive.
We just signed the lease on our third shop. I guess we're a chain now, right? We've worked so hard to get here. My assistant went to CustomInc.com to get our new uniforms and merch with all the location names. Our custom gear helps him get our brand out into the community. He takes care of all of our Custom Inc. orders. He was able to find great products, upload the new art, and have boxes sent directly to each of the shops. Custom Inc. makes it so easy. Get started today at CustomInc.com.
At Away, we know what real travel looks like. So when we make luggage, we think about how you actually get from place to place. How travel brings pit stops and welcome detours. How you deserve an easier, more flexible way to pack. Because when it comes to luggage, how you actually travel matters. Away, designed by travelers for travelers.
Hospitals for children, you might see everyday people just doing their job. But to me and other kids, they aren't just receptionists, therapists, or doctors. They're superheroes. But these superheroes are only able to help all of us kids because of the support of people just like you who empower their abilities so we get the care we need to live our lives like super kids.
Because of people like you, I can play the violin.
I can play piano.
And I can walk. Please go to loveshriners.org right away. Help us be superheroes too.
For years, one company has battled to deliver business products the next day with no freight charges. Now, WB Mason, with their famous fleet of trucks and drivers, faces their biggest challenge, rescuing shipping and packaging buyers from expensive freight charges. That's right. Now boxes, stretch film, and packaging tape are delivered the very next day at amazingly low prices. So, who do you call for fast delivery and no expensive freight charges? Who but WB Mason?
It's fall in New York State, and you have to see it. Plan the perfect trip, or just jump in the car. Either way, it's going to be breathtaking. It's going to be an adventure you'll never forget. It's what makes it easy to love New York. Start your getaway at iloveny.com.
The best ideas come from solving common problems. My problem, like a lot of other men, I couldn't find a shirt that looked good untucked. So this became my passion, to design a shirt that captures the perfect balance between length and fit. Easy to say, not that easy to do. But with some innovative design changes, we did it. Our problem, my solution. Untuckit.com.
Stay ahead of your child's moderate to severe eczema, and they can show off clearer skin and less itch with Dupixent, the #1 prescribed biologic by dermatologists and allergists that helps heal your child's skin from within. Serious allergic reactions can occur that can be severe. Tell your doctor about new or worsening eye problems, such as eye pain or vision changes, including blurred vision, joint aches and pain, or a parasitic infection. Don't change or stop asthma medicines without talking to your doctor. Ask your child's eczema specialist about Dupixent.
Cancer is one journey no one should take on alone. Your support helps us bring together the best doctors and scientists, accelerating research that's leading to more effective treatments. Join us, and let's go further together.
Well, an exhilarating victory for the Mets. They close it out 6-2. They take 2 out of 3 from the Blue Jays. Their offense wakes up in the 9th inning. No hit for 8 innings. They score 6 runs in the 9th. Blue Jays scored a run in the bottom of the 9th. And they had runners on first and second, but they close it out. That's a big, big win, especially with the Diamondbacks winning as well. So if you're a Met fan, you have to feel really good. I know you felt really crappy for 8 innings and starting to think about doom and gloom, but that's a big win. No matter how you look at it, Don, that's gigantic.
No, it's a big win. And, the numbers up until the 9th inning when they batted around and scored 6 runs were ugly, but they're finding a way to win games. I didn't like the fact that they had to still bring in Diaz in the 9th inning, but they got a day off tomorrow. And then you get ready for coming home on the weekend and for the last homestand of the year. It's getting down to the end here, Michael, and we'll see if what the Braves do against Washington in Washington. But 80-66, Michael, 8-2 in their last 10. And get right now a half game ahead of the Atlanta Braves, so they will have a piece of the postseason still here left with still time. So was it 16 games left now? So lots going to happen here. It's going to be fun.
Let me see exactly. You got 3 against the Phillies, 3 against the, so it's 10. 3 against the Braves, 13. Yeah, 16 games.
Yep, 16 games left. Which is a lot of games. It feels like compared to how many you've played already, 146 is minimal, but a lot can happen in those 16.
What was the stat that Lupica gave since the end of May? They have the best record in baseball.
Yeah,
it's a long stretch. Anthony in the car. Anthony,
there he is.
Good. How are you?
Great. Before I talk about the mothership snubbing Peter, you were talking about Don's breakfast a couple weeks ago about the chocolate chip muffin from Dunkin' Donuts. And with how picky Michael is, Michael, do you like donuts from Dunkin' Donuts?
I do like donuts, but they don't like me. I love donuts, but I don't eat them a lot. I hardly eat them.
Oh, they're so good. They are so good, aren't they?
Oh, bless.
Anyway, Peter, last week you went to the U.S. Open, right?
Mm-hmm.
The next morning, ESPN, the mothership, posted on Instagram the stars were out.
Yeah.
And you weren't in any of the pictures.
Oh.
Come on. Are you serious?
Are you serious, Anthony?
Dead serious. I made sure I looked through.
Who else? Who else did they show? Let's see if it makes sense. Who else did they show?
Oh, you think I looked? After I didn't see you in the first 3, I just kept going.
Wow. Anthony's
really,
a fan.
I think
Anthony's a big
ultimately
fan.
to get the degree of the snub, you've got to find out who made the cut.
Correct.
Also a great point, Don.
Yeah, it's worthwhile to find out. By the way, I want you guys to know, I don't know when they will be arriving, but I've procured another lovely pair of very fashionable sneakers for each of you.
Wait, I get one too?
That's right.
Who makes these sneakers?
It's a collaboration sneaker between two trendy brands.
Wow.
Yeah.
This is really nice. I wondered why you asked me what size foot I had the other day. I thought you just had a fetish.
Really? Well, that's an interesting thought. No, it was not that. So now this time you won't be able to complain because you guys are both going to be. And Don, that means Don's going to have a second pair.
Now I actually have choices now.
Now you're going to have options, Don.
Look at that.
Sneaker
You know what I'm amazed with Don, Peter? I wonder if you think the same thing.
Sure.
Every time he wears the Jordans that you got him, they are unbelievably clean.
Yeah.
How does he do that? Because if I just drive in the car, when I drive, my foot is like sideways, and the side of my shoe always gets dark, even the leather. His are pristine, like they came out of a box.
Well, because I respect the Jordans, I will only wear them. You ask why I watch the weather. I will only wear them if there's no sign of rain.
You see that?
I don't wear them to the gym. I don't wear them to walk on grass. As a matter of fact, we did go to a party with the kids, and I wore them, and there was grass. I wanted to turn around and go home. I almost took my shoes off.
Don's not playing reindeer games when it comes to his Jordans. You know what I mean? Wow. I don't know what the rim shot was for. It wasn't like a.
It was the factual statement. Wasn't particularly funny.
Oh yeah, no, it was just like you know what that was. That was
meant to be played.
That was like Moose's sense of irony from earlier. That's what that rim shot was.
Well, has Moose stopped talking yet?
No, he is still going right now, and you know it's ironic, Michael, because you guys are doing the show tonight. But it's ironic because there's also a Yankee game tonight.
Yeah, that's not irony.
But no. What I'm saying is not only is this show happening, but ironically, there's also a Yankee game.
Yeah, but that's not irony.
I know, and neither was the call.
Wow.
That was.
We love Moose. We love Moose. But yeah, no.
1-800-919-3776 is the number. The Mets with a big win. The Yankees starting for a big game tonight. Baseball is alive and well, and with the two football teams losing, it might be all we have. I'm not going to get ahead of myself and say that. That's not the way to bet, am I right, Don?
Oh, I know what he did. I think he set you up for something.
What's that?
Nobody coaches me up. Your BetMGM read.
I understand, but when somebody's talking to my ear, I didn't hear it.
I'm sorry. Yeah, he set you up.
Get your bag.
Well,
I said, but that's not the way to bet, Don.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh,
Ready?
I didn't hear that.
Okay, here you go. Go.
Baseball fans, BetMGM is giving you a chance.
I love my fruit to the root. I love my fruit, they a wonderful treat. I love my fruit, they so juicy and sweet. I love my fruit, every flavor and taste. I love my fruit, every color and shape. I love my fruit to the root. Fruits in my smoothies, mango so groovy. Melons and limes, sometimes I get choosy. Bananas for breakfast, blueberries for brunch, pineapples for dinner, fruit salad for lunch. Even though oranges don't rhyme, they don't. I'm still gonna eat them, they mine. I love my fruit, every flavor and taste. I love my fruit, every color and shape.
Big season. More reasons to say yes. Yes to pick and play jackpots up to $25,000. Yes to in-game action and live chats with Pick and Play Live. Check it out now on the Yes app.
The finest premium arena club in the world comes alive in Brooklyn. Welcome to Crown Club, the Brooklyn Nets' most exclusive club in Barclays Center. Featuring a menu curated by a major food group with Carbone classics and a world-class wine list. To learn more about premium memberships at Barclays Center, visit brooklynnets.com/crown-club.
Pizzas for $6.99 each online. We'll upgrade one medium pizza to a large for free.
You sure about that?
Yup.
You sure about that?
Positive. Get moreflation, not shrinkflation, only at Domino's. Thanks. Wait. We're giving you more.
Do you spend hours maintaining your gutters? Save that time with LeafGuard's maintenance-free system. Call 1-833-2-GUTTERS. Mesh filters sit on top of your gutters, building up debris and eventually clogging. Then they need to be cleaned too. Honestly, your home should have been built with LeafGuard gutters. LeafGuard's wraparound hood deflects debris and keeps water away from your home. The one-piece seamless system is strong, 20% thicker than average, and built to last. Plus, LeafGuard is guaranteed to never clog for as long as you own your home. Right now, get a complete LeafGuard system for only $99 down, $99 a month, and $99 installation. You'll also receive a $100 Visa gift card with a free gutter inspection and in-home estimate. Damage from clogged gutters can cost you thousands. Never worry about clogged gutters again. Don't wait, you've still got time. Call 1-833-2-GUTTERS today. That's 1-833-2-GUTTERS.
No service member who has put on a uniform and served our nation should be without a home in the services they need. I'm Dave Portnoy, and I'm asking for your help. The Tunnel to Towers Foundation promises to eradicate veteran homelessness across the country so that no service member who has served our nation will be without a home in the services they need. That's why I'm asking you to contribute $11 a month to support these efforts by going to T2T.org or calling 1-844-BRAVEST.
Dear Triathlon, let's splash through rushing rivers, take on iconic trails, and race straight to the top. What's the point of winning if you can't kick back and enjoy the view? Yours, Toyota SUVs.
Lease a new RAV4, the best-selling small SUV in America with all-wheel drive for just $319 a month. Find yours at Toyota.com. Toyota. Let's go places.
Listen, I spotted it from the start. Breaking didn't even have a name yet. Bunch of kids from the South Bronx who didn't just knock on the door, they kicked it down. And today, it's your time. It's all about spotting it early. And if you do, no victory is out of reach.
Chris Sheeran back here for the Michael K. Show. Week 2 in the NFL is just a day away from kicking off. Let's take a look back at the top performers from Week 1. First with the signal callers, and just one quarterback on this list lost his opening game. That was the Rams' Matthew Stafford. LA lost in overtime in Stafford's old stomping grounds in Detroit. The rest of these guys all helped their teams out to a 1-0 start. And here's a look at some backs who hit the ground running. Joe Mixon led the way for the Texans, helping his team knock out the Colts. Christian McCaffrey sat out Monday night with a calf, opening the door for Jordan Mason to run wild on the Jets. The one guy here that isn't a running back, Lamar Jackson, is also the only guy who lost in Week 1. Baltimore gets a shot, though, at their first win Sunday in their home opener against the Raiders.
The game against the Angels, he gave up a leadoff home run in the ninth inning to Turner Ward. This time he gives up a home run to Francisco Lindor. And when, the Blu-ray comes out on the Mets season, if they end up going far.
Blu-ray, interesting.
Yeah, that's going to be a big deal. That's going to be a big part of it. That home run is going to be the one that they'll point to and say, that helps spur them. Because you could see.
There's been a few, though, Michael.
There have been a few, but, the later you get, the bigger it becomes. And, if you lose that game, then you sit on that during an off day, and then you start a 3-game set against a really great Philadelphia Phillies team. I don't think I can articulate properly how big a win that was for the Mets. First of all, to lose the game would be awful. To lose the game and be no hit would be absolutely embarrassing. And then you'd really have to start thinking about the fact that your offense is stopped. And with one swing, all the pressure was off with the no-hitter, and then they went to work, scored 5 more runs. Mm-hmm. That's a nice win, man.
And a couple of things from individuals. He's down in the count 0-2, looked bad on the first 2 pitches, but Alonso was able to get the sacrifice fly that broke the 1-1 tie. All right, it wasn't a home run, wasn't a hit, but I thought he battled and was able to hit the ball to a part of the park where they're able to get the sacrifice fly. And then Alvarez hitting his first home run since August 19th. They're going to need other guys besides Lindor and Vientos to hit. And so maybe this breaks out Alvarez. Maybe that's a big at-bat for Alonso to kind of get him going just a bit. These are guys they're going to need. And I agree with Mike Lupica. We've even talked about it, that the narrative on Alonso still has not been determined. I know he has not had a great season. That was only his 80th RBI, Michael. He had not been really even getting many RBIs, and I think he's been stuck on 31 home runs for a while. But if he can play well these final 16 and they get into the playoffs and he plays well, that's going to change his season completely. So they're not going to think about the disappointing numbers during the first 150 games. If he rakes here in the second half of September, gets him into the postseason, that's going to be what's remembered.
Now let's hear how it sounded on 880 ESPN with Keith Radd at the mic.
0-2. Hit high in the air. Deep right field. Lindor swings and sends it out to tie the game and deliver heartbreak to the Blue Jays. Francisco Lindor in the ninth has tied the game up at 1, ripping the no-hitter up and putting the Mets on the board with their first hit and their first run. That is what you call an emotional roller coaster, but now a tie game.
Good job by Keith Radd, and that's how big a home run it was. And let's not forget the home run by Alvarez, who was really not having a great year offensively. That was pretty big as well. So every way you look at it, let's not forget Manaea. Manaea's been one of the great signings by any team. So he has a 2-year deal, but he has an opt-out after this one. He's going to opt out.
Right.
And we'll see if the Mets want to bring him back. And Severino, a 1-year deal. So obviously he's going to be a coveted free agent as well. So you have guys pitching for you, pitching for greatness for you, also pitching for their future as well. It's been a great year for the Mets. It really has. Great year. Now tonight, the Yankees against the Royals. And Luis Gil who's going to be up there in the American League Rookie of the Year voting. He gets a start for the Yankees. Cole Reagans gets a start for the Royals. Reagans is 11-9, 3.33. One thing the Royals have is they have really good starting pitching. They proved that yesterday with Seth Lugo, who now has 16 wins, and that's tied with Chris Sale and why am I blanking on the other guy? Chris Sale. Who else has 6? And Tarek Skubal. So those guys have the most wins in Major League Baseball in an era where you don't care about wins that much. But the Royals don't have a great bullpen. So you do want your starters to get wins. You don't want to turn it over to the bullpen. And he pitched wonderfully yesterday. And the Yankees, for the 11th time in 12 series, Don and Peter, are playing a rubber game. It's amazing. The 11th time in 12 series. The only time they didn't was their previous series in Chicago, where they won the first 2, so the third game wasn't a rubber game. This is the 11th rubber game in 12 series. And you know what their record is in the previous 10? 5-5. So you got this is a big game for them, because the Red Sox, who are still hanging around the fringes, they come in tomorrow, start a 4-game set.
And I know the Yankees have kind of gotten beat up for the timing of the Dominguez, like why now and not earlier. But I thought Mike Lupica made a good point. Maybe it was just kind of to shake it up. It kind of feels stale. And I know when you don't hit, it looks like that, but they've been average for a long time, Michael. I mean, maybe he definitely sparked them before he got hurt. If you remember last year, maybe there is a little bit of a spark that they can kind of get created here, because when Judge and Soto aren't hitting, it just... I don't want to take anything away from Lugo. He was spectacular, but it's beyond just what happened last night. That Chicago series, they won 2 out of 3. Good on them, but they didn't hit it all.
No, they didn't hit it all.
And Judge now, 14 straight? I said, I don't know if it's changed, Michael, but they said during the broadcast last night when I was listening and driving home that going into last night, that was the longest stretch without a home run for Judge since 2019.
Well, his longest stretch is 15, and that was 2017. So that was his rookie year. So he's at 14 right now. And, not only is he not hitting home runs, he's hitting under 200. And then you have Soto also. The same 14 games, hitting just a smidge over 200. Volpe in a little bit of a slump. Chisholm in a slump. 1 for 22 for Stanton. So they stopped scoring, and now they're facing another good pitcher tonight, and they're facing a left-hander, which they've had a lot of problems with this year. So they've had problems with lefty starters and playing at home.
It would be weird if Judge is not able to pull it together here down the stretch. Wouldn't it be odd to have like this incredible middle part of the season that's bookended by a bad start and finish?
But it would be quickly erased if he has a great postseason.
Oh, of course,
right.
Of course. But here's my question, Michael. What if he didn't?
Well, then he's going to have to answer questions. He knows that. They all have to hit.
Yeah, it would just be odd. The way he's played in the middle of the year is just so astounding.
Well, let's talk with you, please. 1-800-919-3776. That number again, 1-800-919-3776. And we'll start with Ed in Newark. Ed.
Hey, guys. Thanks for taking the call. Big Mets fan. I was at work, catching the game, listening to it whenever I could, and then picking it up on the way home. My son was texting me, telling me they're getting no hit. I mean, I called in a few weeks ago, maybe a week and a half ago, and the discussion was the Mets don't make the playoffs. Are you content with the way the season went? I called and I answered that and I have a Sunday plan, so I've got money invested in being a fan with the Mets. But couple questions for you guys. So I'm a bit biased, so if I had a vote, I'd give Lindor the MVP vote. With regards to Ohtani, I mean, there's no doubt about what type of talent Ohtani is. That being said, he's not pitching this year, and I'd never give a DH a vote. I mean, the guy would have to. I mean, he'd have to surpass the Barry Bonds home run total.
Yeah, but 50-50 is kind of like
50-50
is kind of like special. That's like the Barry Bonds season.
But then you look at Lindor and only Alex Rodriguez, and I think he tied I forget who was he tied with 5 seasons of 30-30. I mean, the guy's playing after the catcher's position. He's playing the toughest position in all of baseball.
Ed, we're not going to argue with you. He's having an MVP type season. We thank you for the call. The only thing that's going to stand in his way is that you're having a guy who's a unicorn, who's having a season that's never been done before. No one's ever done 50-50. And his team is also going to win the West. The Mets aren't going to win the East. So as great as Lindor's been, he hasn't catapulted them over the Phillies. So I think he's going to finish second. And in most other years, he'd win. But, Don, I think the 50-50 thing is too much of an impediment to overcome.
Yeah, I think Lindor will get votes because there will be guys that think like the caller, I'm not going to give it to a DH. And there may be some who just feel like the true definition of MVP. Yes, Ohtani's the better player, better batting average, more home runs. He's going to go 50-50. But could the Dodgers find a way to make the playoffs if Ohtani didn't play?
Don't know. They've had so many injuries, Don. Maybe they couldn't.
I know, maybe not. But I could tell you, watching Lindor every day, and I don't watch Ohtani every day, but watching Lindor every day, I can say with the utmost confidence that if not for Lindor, this team would not get a sniff.
You're probably right.
He turned it around. Once he turned it around, the team turned it around. He's been a leader. He's an A-plus defender. He has been clutch. So I think he'll get votes, but it's unfortunate for him. It comes in a year where Ohtani's going to do something that's just absolutely so special that even though he's a DH, he'll win it. And I guess he'll become the first DH to do it.
Well, I think I looked that up the other day. I guess the guy who DH'd the most and won the MVP was Don Baylor, and that was the year that many people thought Ken Singleton should win. Mm-hmm. But Don Baylor played in the field some, but the majority of his games were as a DH. And
that's a long time ago.
But Ohtani has not played in the field once.
Not once. Now, obviously, you say he's a unicorn. Well, not this year because he hasn't pitched.
Well, he is a unicorn in the fact that he has 50 home runs, he's going to steal 50 bases.
Right, absolutely. But also, and again, I'm not taking anything away, but I think you're going to start seeing, when we had 30 for 30 years, which like Strawberry and with Howard Johnson, it was relatively new because most people that had power didn't have speed.
Right.
It's easier to steal bases now than it's ever been. So, and he's taking advantage of it. I don't want to take anything away, and I'm conceding the fact that he's going to win it. But I do think Lindor shouldn't just be completely dismissed because I think he is really having a special season, even though the numbers don't suggest he's even in the same stratosphere with Ohtani. If there were an award, Michael, Best Player MVP, I think Lindor might get the MVP. But because there isn't a split, it's going to be Ohtani.
I would tend to agree with you, but I would also say that Ohtani's been pretty darn valuable to the Dodgers. Because remember, Mookie Betts missed about 3 months. Most of their starting staff has been hurt.
True.
So, I mean, he's been pretty valuable. It's not like he's just putting up numbers. The way Andre Dawson did, or the way Ripken did when they finished last. These are numbers that are important.
But this team is loaded. Okay, even with the injuries that they've had, they've got some really, really good players. They were the favorites to win their division. The Mets were looked upon as a team that, let's be honest, Michael, many thought, even though they didn't talk that way, many thought they were taking a knee this year. And for them to be above, not just above 500, 80 wins, I think 90's on the table, right? I mean, they got 16 games left. They can go 10-6.
You kind of want them to go 10-6.
Yeah. So even if 10-6 isn't enough for them to be able to make the playoffs, which it might not be, I mean, who had them penciled in for 90 wins and maybe north of that to start the season? So all these things apply.
Isn't that amazing, though? Because I think teams were built by their models to win about 86, 87 games. And everybody thought, well, that'll get us into the postseason. It's not going to. 90 might not. They, as you said, they could go 10-6 and not get in.
And last year, what was the Diamondbacks had 84?
Yep.
So yeah, I think you want to try to strive for 90. And I the last I looked, Michael, I'm going to check now. The last I looked, I think the Mets would be the second wild card in the American League. Yeah, right? Yeah, they have the exact same record as Kansas City. 80-66, and Kansas City is the second wild card. So they would be in.
Let's go to Jay in Diker Heights.
Hey, Jay.
Hey, thanks for taking the call. So I was just waiting on hold for a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
You was just talking about the Yankee lineup. Now, is this still like the Yes Network where you give out the Yankee lineup, or is this something totally different now that you're on a different...
Well, what do you mean?
It's a sponsored element.
No, because
somebody's paying for the Yankee lineup to be given.
no, because I thought you was just giving that before, like, because you was on the Yes Network, and now that you're
Well, we are still on the Yes Network.
Still on the Yes Network.
We are still on Yes.
Okay, yeah. I'm sorry. It's been, my birthday was there, so I haven't really been listening.
No, it's okay.
That's all right. Happy birthday.
We're going to catch you up.
No, thank you. I appreciate it. I just wanted to know, Mike, there was a note, like, you giving that pitch count inning by inning behind that, right? It was just being a good sport and just giving that info out every inning? Or you rooting for...
What are you talking about? Goodbye, Jay. I take back the happy birthday. Because that's a big part of whether or not somebody's going to be able to... Don was giving it out, too. So you want to cast aspersions on him? Come on, get a life, dude.
Well, I'm not surprised by that call.
Why?
But no, because that's how people are. There might have been... You don't think that there are people out there going, boy, Michael's really enjoying giving these updates on the Mets getting no hit?
Well, you don't think that if the Yankees were getting no hit, we would say the same thing? Or I even give no hit updates when it's not even a New York team. Well, this is the Mets who have to win games.
Listen, I know you. We know the truth, Michael. I'm just saying I'm not surprised that somebody threw out that allegation. And the other thing, too, like, I guess because we have the Mets on our station, that we should only talk Mets. I actually had somebody say to me today,
you know what?
I turned on your show and I heard you talking about the Yankees. I thought you were the Mets station. It's like, I don't know what.
But you know what, though? That is a thing. Like, we do operate in this world where we assume people understand things about our business that they just don't. You know what I mean? That's our fault. Like when I was interviewing LL Cool J yesterday, and he has a station on Sirius, a permanent station called Rock the Bells.
Right.
Plays classic hip hop. And I was saying to him, I said, I happen to know from my people in radio, like, you really are hands-on in that radio station. And he was like, yeah, I program the radio station. Like, I do everything. And he almost was surprised that I said that. We were like, LL, people they see a name on the radio station on Sirius. They have no idea what that means. You know what I mean? Right. I think it's the same here. When they hear that we go to the home of the Mets, maybe people believe that means we've now shifted to becoming an all-Mets show.
And you know people watching on Yes think that we're a Yankee show.
Well, no, and now they're probably disgusted, and they're going to start getting calls going, now I thought you were a Yankee show, and now you're a Mets show.
And how about this? There were actually people in the business that thought it would be awkward for Michael to throw to a Met.
It still is. I shower every night, like with Brillo.
How do you even do it?
Oh, it's really difficult.
Well, you know what was really hard I heard from Michael? A lot of people don't know this. When they said, Michael, we need you to go to London and call the Mets game. He said, I don't want to do it. I want Major League Baseball to change the game. I don't want to call a Mets game. And they said, sorry, Michael, you have to call the Mets game.
See, Peter, there are going to be people out there that believe you.
Oh, sorry. No, he happily jumped on the flight and called the game.
Michael's going to get really mad at me for revealing this. He asked me not to say, but I want to show that how difficult it was for him to go to London. He actually did a cleanse.
Is that true?
Yeah. He took when he got back from London, he did a cleanse.
Wow. Just to get it all out of the system.
Just to get it all out.
Well, if you believe the manager of the team, it was me showing up in London that's kind of turned the tide for this
That is true. It wasn't. What's his face?
Ask Los.
What happened to Grimace? Remember Grimace?
Well, hey, you know what? Things have been looking pretty good since Hoctua as well. So let's give her some credit.
You know what?
Oh, it's a good point by Don.
When will the yo-yos apologize? When will the yo-yo sports talk jabronis,
the pearl clutchers?
Yeah, the ones who are like walking stereotypes of our business. Yeah. What's the word? The gas bags. When will the gas bags come out and say sorry to Haley Welch, a.k.a. formerly, because she's beyond it now, formerly Hawk Tua girl. Right. When will they give her a credit? Because guess what? This team's been rolling post-Hawk Tua.
Talk to it, Peter.
Yeah, the podcast. I can't wait.
Let's go to Brody in Hightstown.
Hi, Brody.
Hey, guys. I always love calling in. Listen, everyone feels better after Hoctua, but no, really, besides not wanting to call the Mets, I know you don't want to call it with flaherty, but
that's true.
The real reason I called, I just feel like Ohtani is great. I've loved him, and I've loved being able to watch him, but, just as a DH this year, and the 50 stolen bases to me just doesn't hold as much value with the size of the bases. And, someone who's going out there every day, playing every game, defense, offense. I don't know if Lindor should win it, but there's just so many things that I feel differently about Ohtani this year that every other year I feel like he's deserved it. But this year I just feel like, there are other arguments.
Let's dig down here, Brody. Let's dig down. Are you a Met fan?
I lean Mets, but I'm just a general baseball
So
fan.
if you did not have a dog in the fight, so you're obviously a Met fan, would you feel the same way about Ohtani?
I don't know. I really genuinely try to take a step back, and I'm a sports fanatic. I love sports, and I really try to look objectively. And I feel like he is a unicorn. But this year, I don't know. Is he a unicorn? I mean, the guy who stole the 70 bases the other year, that never happened before the bases are larger. And 50-50 is amazing.
Well, but it did. I mean, Ricky had 130 bases with smaller bases, so, I mean, people have stolen bases before. So everybody has the same bases, Brody. Nobody's stolen, 50 and hit 50 home runs. And what Acuna did last year, 40 and 70, no one did it. Everybody else had an opportunity to do it. Let's go to Cliff in Bay Ridge. Cliff?
Yes, hi, gentlemen. I have a question for Don. And it's about him being a Portland Trailblazer fan, secretive.
Yes.
And I have my opinion.
You broke the code.
You think you cracked it?
I think I did.
Let's go. Let's hear.
In 1977, when you had Bill Walton and Maurice Lucas beating George McGinnis and Darryl Dawkins and Dr. J, and they were very tough, McGinnis, and then Maurice Lucas stepped in almost hockey style when there was a very hard foul. And that era, when you saw Bill Walton's greatness and the toughness of Portland being a semi-expansion team, I think that may have impressed you, and that's my...
He did it. Peter, he did it. Cliff did it. He broke
Good
the
job,
code.
Cliff.
Thank you, Cliff. Wow. Don, he did it, didn't he?
Did
That's
it.
it,
Good
right?
job. You nailed it.
Wow. Goes all the way back to Maurice Lucas, and that got you into hockey.
Hockey Tua.
Hockey
That's it. People don't
Tua
realize
should be
that.
the name.
That's
you
right.
know what? You should change the name of the podcast this year to Hockey Tua.
It's not a bad.
I'll give you $1,000 if you do it.
What? $1,000?
Yeah.
All right.
Hockey Tua.
Let's do it
That's
now.
a new
name.
name.
It's more than I'm getting now. All right. When the next time I'm going to see you? I like it in 20s. I just like a.
No, well, I want to see the name officially changed to Hockey Tua.
Hockey Tua.
I bet you that podcast explodes with that name.
Wow. Excuse me. Great adjective. Verb. Well, either one. I needed to come up with something quick. WAR. What is it good for? No, WAR for Lindor, 6.5.
And what is it for Ohtani?
7.2.
Close.
Now, it's close, but here's the thing. That's how special Ohtani's been offensively. That without playing the field, because WAR also factors in how you play defensively.
Right.
So Lindor is a Gold Glove shortstop, and that's factored into a 6.5, and yet Ohtani, who hasn't stepped on the field with a glove, is still beating with a 7.2. And a lot of people look at WAR as the determining factor on who is going to win the MVP.
And you know what? Then, in addition to the Hockey Tua podcast, you could start your Met podcast, War with Lindor. This is going to be a big
all coming
time
together. Now, how much you pay me for that, Michael?
The same thing ESPN pays you for the hockey
now,
one.
is there enough time for Lindor to surpass
Yes, he
Ohtani?
can get. Well, Ohtani has to shut it down and stop getting points because each day you kind of add more if you do something. So Lindor would have to just go off on a toot, which he did today. I bet you that doesn't include the home run, right?
Well, I'm on Baseball Reference, so I'm not.
Yeah, they might have updated.
They might have updated, but the thing is that that's still a major lead for Ohtani not being in the field.
It is. It's very telling because Lindor isn't just a good shortstop; he's outstanding. And he's just accrued that much WAR. And also the fact that Lindor had a terrible April also hurt him.
I loved it. I rubbed it on myself.
Because if he had a normal April, Don, he'd be closing in maybe on a 7.5 WAR. Then you could talk.
Yeah, then I think it'd be on.
Hockey Tua coming soon.
Maybe.
Yankee baseball on Prime coming up.
Yay!
Big show tomorrow coming up.
Dan Grassa.
Dan Grassa coming up.
ESPN New York. That's right.
Love it. Billy Joel, please take it away.
That's a wrap on the show for today. Coming up next here on Yes is the story of my number, while coverage of the Yankees and Royals begins on Prime Video in just a couple of minutes. Be sure to tune back for the post-game show after the final out back here on Yes and the Yes app. For all of us here on the Michael K. Show, this is Chris Sheeran saying have a great night. We'll see you again tomorrow at 3 o'clock.
K Show on Yes is presented by Untuck It. Shirts designed to be worn untucked. Shop now at untuckit.com.
The best ideas come from solving common problems. My problem, like a lot of other men, I couldn't find a shirt that looked good untucked. So this became my passion.